Welcome to DocTalk with your host, Brent Leavitt. And DocTalk with Brent is sponsored by Battleborn Financial.
Welcome to DocTalk. This is Brent Leavitt, owner and proprietor of Battleborn Financial Advisor and Health Insurance Broker. This show is our wonderful weekly dive into primary care in Southern Nevada. And I say Southern Nevada because we're in the markets of Vegas and also Pahrump. We focus a lot in Pahrump because we love primary care out here, and we think that in Vegas and Pahrump that we don't have very much access to really good doctors and physicians. But in reality, we have these most wonderful primary care practices that help us out in getting the care we need. And I really want to focus upon, get to know them, get to know who they are before you even have to go to their office and see what they're about. We've had some great opportunities to get interviews and see behind the scenes in some of the physicians' offices that are brand new out here. And today we're joined again with Spring Mountain Medical, and what they're doing, they're actually opening a brand new office in Las Vegas as well. They've been out here in Pahrump for quite a long time. They also have this affiliated chiropractic kind of side doing physical medicine, and they're adding primary care to that mix. And they're actually recruiting new people to come out here to Pahrump and in Vegas. In fact, we're joined by Nathan Bell, a nurse practitioner. They brought him all the way out from Kansas City, Missouri, to try to pull him out here and let's get this guy out. Although you said Kansas City, I'm assuming it's Missouri, right?
That's the
Kansas City,
Kansas side.
Kansas. You're on the Kansas side.
Yeah.
Okay, so Kansas City, Kansas. So sorry about that. I built a mess that up.
That's all right.
But we brought him all the way out from Kansas City out to help us out with the primary care side and nurse practitioning. I'm going to before I go into the interview a little bit more too, I'm going to just reiterate the fact that as we record this, open enrollment, the previews have really kind of started recently, and we're able to kind of start looking at health insurance for the new year for 2021. This year is kind of the biggest year of, I think, confusion. There are so many choices, whether you're on Nevada Health Inc. or on the Medicare side. This year, there's more choices than ever, and it can be confusing for a lot of people. And we get so many TV ads and national companies saying, join this plan, all these great benefits, and do this and that. And it's kind of, we lose that insight about what's best for you. I want to reiterate the fact that we have local brokers offices here in Nye County and Pahrump. We also have two offices in Las Vegas, one in North Las Vegas and one in South Vegas, where we can help you out. And the goal of us is to make sure that you're getting the plans you need that pertain to you by looking at your doctors, looking at your medications, and getting those plans that meet your needs. Call our office, the 775-764-2252, and going online to battlebornins.com and getting an appointment set with an agent that can make sure you're taken care of. We work on you virtually. We help you in person. We have these local offices that work with you, all these different agents that know the plans, they know the area. And we do these interviews because we want you to know that we know these doctors just as well. Nathan Bell is just meeting him a little bit, talking about his background. I mean, he's comes from a phenomenal background. Tell us about kind of your where you came from in Kansas City and what you focus on, and it's kind of amazing what you do.
Yeah, so I came from Kansas City, Missouri. I was in the emergency department for a regional trauma center for pediatrics. I was there for 4 years, where I, obtained an incredible amount of knowledge and a really good experience. Actually, before I got into healthcare, I was a police officer for 10 years as well. So I kind of can bring a unique set of experience to this practice that we're at now today with Spring Mountain Medical. So I'm really excited to be here.
Yeah. So I mean, we talk about pediatrics. We just lost our big pediatrics office here in town. I know you don't do a lot of the primary pediatric stuff when it comes to maybe getting well checks and things like that, but you can help with the acute care.
Yes.
From the ER side. I mean, that's gotta be awesome. Understand how to take care of kids and understand if you have a cold cough or something major happening, how do you take care of the kid? And your office even does a semi-urgent care. And you guys can see people same day or next day if you need to. I know you guys are open just Monday through Friday, but those hours are pretty good and you guys are flexible with those appointment settings.
Yes.
The biggest complaint we get here in Pahrump and everything like that is the fact that it's how do I see my doctor in a timely manner? And it's they're frustrated because it's I'm sick. I want to see the doctor when I'm sick, not when I'm just super healthy. It's what am I doing that? Although I recommend doing that anyways. But it's how do we, Spring Mountain Medical is the place to go. Everybody thinks that Spring Mountain Medical is just a, chiropractic a lot of times. They forget that, physical medicine, I want to get my back cracked by Doc Taylor or even by Danny Griffith or something like that. They forget that there's also this whole other side of things where it's hey, if you're sick or whatever, we can get you the prescriptions you need and the care you need. And you'll be in both offices too, right? You're going to be in Vegas and also in Pahrump as well, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we tried really hard to make it so that we have patients that can't get into their primary care or their previous provider for 3 months, and we can get them in the next day, or at least that week. And so that's a real big priority of mine is to make sure that if I have a patient that they get the care they need.
Yeah. And it's not, and then we mentioned pediatrics, and that's not everything you deal with. I mean, you
Right.
deal with adults of all ages.
Yeah.
Some of the insurances they take, I mean, they work with every plan on the exchange except for maybe one, and which is really awesome because we have all these new companies this year. It's like, how do you get contracts and what do you want to see? The doctor. If you made the mistake of trying to do it on your own, you got the wrong plan, you think, I don't have a doctor. Well, you do. They take the Anthem Pathway, they take the Ambetter plans, they take Friday Health plans, things like that. It's wonderful what they do there. If you're on Medicare, they take original Medicare, they take Medicaid, and they also work with P3, and they also take Humana PPO, and something that works really well with them. Especially if you guys are like, I want to have a Medicare plan to see the doctor and have all these zero copays. Those P3 plans are great to work with as well. Or if maybe it's like, I want to have these choices of doctors, the Humana PPO might be a choice for you, or things like that. And if you call our office, that's the idea. It's like, hey, I want to see Nathan Bell. And we talk about Bell, it has a nice ring to it.
It does. It does has no ring to it.
Talk about him. You want to see him. I really think that might be good to establish care. A nurse practitioner that understands what we're doing, especially that ER experience, understanding acute care, how that works with you. And there we can get you an appointment and make sure you get the right plan that fits them, and also get the prescriptions you need covered as well in the plan. Taking that whole physical medicine thing. Have you, with the whole idea of that, with, we're talking about pain, they do a lot of pain management, not pain management, but like helping you get out of pain and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Now they refer still for like pain management here in Nevada. It's kind of tough to get, medications for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But they help you. I think the biggest, what we were talking about with your manager, Levi, saying that a lot of like patients that have been with you guys and transitioning to see you as a new patient, they're kind of excited the fact that they're getting better. You're treating the
Yes.
condition a little bit better. Tell us about that.
Yes, I'm really excited to be in this setting of a practice because not only do we have the traditional medical options, but I do have the opportunity to refer in-house to our physical medicine side, make sure that, they have the alternatives to, just standard medications that they can have an adjustment. We can do massage, but also Dr. Griffith, Levi, Dr. Taylor, they're working really hard to bring in other specialists to our practice as well. So we have pain management that we can refer in-house and make sure that our patients have, the full spectrum of everything for us.
Yeah, you guys have a few that come out on a regular basis. We talked about when we interviewed
Yes.
Levi last time is, um, you guys have them actually in your office. They work out of Vegas. A lot of times they come out here, and so it's not just it's a one-stop
That's
shop really for you guys too.
exactly. We're working on right now. We have a pain management or a physician's assistant coming. His name's Mark. He's a great guy that provides really excellent care. We have a neurologist that comes once a month. So we're trying to see what do our patients need, and then we meet those needs so that they don't have to go anywhere else. That's really convenient for them.
Yeah. What kind of stuff are you seeing, being new to Prump and just kind of like this whole idea of this seeing new patients and things like that? What are some of the biggest concerns or needs that people have when it comes to their healthcare?
Absolutely. I think that two of the biggest things that I see universally are problems with asthma, COPD, and then also diabetes management. Those two really can be debilitating, and if they aren't watched really closely, that can have long-term effects. So it's really important to stay in touch with your healthcare provider so that we can make sure that you're on the right plan, the right medications, and that you're stable so that you can live a nice, long, happy, healthy life.
Yeah, especially out here with all the dust and stuff like that, we get a lot of the COPD stuff.
Absolutely.
Although a lot of people come out here, it's interesting to me. They come out here to they live in the desert because they actually live better lives out here with those conditions on COPD stuff, from what I've been told.
Yes, and
Uh,
that can be kind of a misnomer because you can say, "Well, I'm living in Vegas and I'm living in Pahrump where it's nice and dry," but people don't realize the amount of allergies they can still have from dust, and so they may think that they're living nice and happy, healthy, but there's things that we can do that we can improve them even better so that they can breathe better and breathe easier. So
Especially lately, we've had a lot of smoke
with
in
the
the air and things
yes,
like that. It's just like things are worse. Like even for me, I got a little congestion from like allergies and stuff like that because all this
yeah, you should
smoke in
come
the
see
air.
me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. We gotta schedule an appointment for you. But it's like all those things like getting medications, getting it so you're feeling better.
Mhm.
Your whole body just gets, things like that. And don't ignore them. because we don't
absolutely.
want just a situation where it's like now you have this allergic reaction now becomes an infection,
Hmm.
and an infection becomes something worse, and next thing you know, like you get sicker and sicker, and we
Yes,
don't want to do that happen to everything we do.
yes.
Um, I think the one cool about the show is I love what we do. We help people out, not only about making their lives better with their insurance, things like that. It's that fear of going to the doctor, realizing that these guys aren't bad. They're great, wonderful people that you can see, you can get access to them. They're available to you. They're willing to think and talk to you in a one-on-one kind of basis. They understand where you're coming from and try to get you through that system. And Spring Mountain Medical, especially, you guys have a website too, right? It's Spring Mountain Medical springmtnmed.com there. And so they're great. You can get on their website, make a phone call, make an appointment with them. They have great staff over there too. Like when you call in, you get a good person to talk on the phone, say you need to see a doctor, get you pretty quickly. That semi-urgent care benefit, again, I just want to reiterate that. We talked about, we've talked in the show a lot about those two things. You mentioned COPD and diabetes. I think every show I hit on those
Hmm.
sometime or another.
Yes.
And I think it's because it's like, for some reason, we hear it over and over again in this town. It's like, but yet for some reason we can't get to their heads. We still can't treat it. Well, I mean, why is that? It's the craziest
You
thing.
know, sometimes it can be life choices, but other times they're just very complex medical issues that need to have a consistent set of eyes, maintaining that, and so establishing that uh, positive and supportive care with a healthcare provider. That's my goal, to establish that relationship with them, so that I can work hand in hand with my patients, and so we can be a team in managing their health, because I can only do so much. It's also the patient themselves, and so I want to enable them to be able to take care of themselves as well.
Yeah. We're going to take a break real quick. We're going to come back. I want to talk more about chronic conditions a little bit, why it's a big deal, and things like that. We'll go to break, and when we come back, we'll talk again with Nathan Bell with Spring Mountain Medical.
Welcome to Doc Talk with your host, Brent Leavitt. And Doc Talk with Brent is sponsored by Battleborn Financial.
Welcome back to Doc Talk. Again, I'm Brent Leavitt with Battleborn Financial Advisor and Health Insurance Brokerage here in Pahrump, Nevada, and also Las Vegas. We're here about Southern Nevada primary care. If you're just joining the show back from our commercial break, we were talking with Nathan Bell, and it has a nice ring to it, our nurse practitioner from Spring Mountain Medical. Here, they're opening a brand new office in Las Vegas as we speak. Hopefully in November, they'll be opened up. And they've been serving in Pahrump area for quite a long time with Dr. Griffith, Doc Taylor, and Dr. Roberson, who's actually our MD. And then also we have these brand new nurse practitioners. They're diving into primary care. A lot of people don't know how wonderful they've been in primary care for a while. They've known it for their chiropractic care for like many, many years in this town, but they're adding that primary care model to help really boost up their ability to help serve every population. We've also hit on the fact that they have specialists in the area taking care of regular needs out here. I want to reiterate again that this time during open enrollment, everybody's thinking about their healthcare needs or health insurance, and it's confusing what choices you have and where you're going. I just want to reiterate, even your current client of ours, reaching out and getting to know us and say, it's time of the year, I want to make some changes. I want to look into what's available to this year. Things have changed. Take a quick minute to shoot us an email, chat online, make an appointment, say, hey, I want to make time to meet with you guys to kind of go over your choices, because it's important to know what's good for you. You're going to get bombarded by information in the paper, the news. Everything's like saying, buy this plan, buy this one. We're better. We're great. And you're confusing. It's like, well, which one do I need to have? Which one has my doctors? Which one covers my meds? And that's our job, and why you have an actual local broker. Even in Las Vegas, I have 2 offices in Vegas. We have a North Las Vegas office. We got Shelly and Jindy. We got a South Las Vegas office. We got Pahrump. We got me and Aubriana. We've had them on the show. Love to chat with them more and talk to them, and they know the areas. They know where you live. We get to see the doctors. We'll find the right plans for you. 764-2252, 775 area code, battlebornins.com. I want to get back to our conversation with Nathan here. It's Nathan, right? Not Nate.
Nathan.
Nathan, yeah, okay. I don't want to mess up your name too. Talk to you about, again, healthcare here. We kind of, before the break, we were kind of segueing into a little bit about some of the most common things. I think every episode we talk about these 2 main things, chronic lung stuff, diabetes, but yet we keep kind of hitting on it because they're such a big deal, so complex. we deal with them every day. I think the news, everybody talks about how we have a big pandemic. I think I saw an article recently that said like I think 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people has diabetes in this country. Um, People, it's a huge deal, but yet for some reason we keep ignoring it. We don't care. I don't know what it is, but there's just so much more we haven't learned yet. We all say it's bad eating habits and things like that, but it's like there's more to it than that. It's not just the eating; it's the environment. It's everything we're dealing with. And I want to talk to Nathan a little bit more about what he's seeing. How can he help patients out more with that? Why you want to see them at Spring Mountain Medical? Think of Spring Mountain Medical with your primary care and physical medicine's needs, not just your chiropractic stuff like that. They're your medical home in a lot of ways. So tell us about Nathan about a little bit more what we talked about before and
Sure. Yeah.
how it
So
is.
with my experience in a pediatric ER, unfortunately, a lot of children they struggle with breathing difficulties and childhood onset asthma, and so I feel that I have a solid experience and understanding of inhalers and treatment of asthma, and I think I can relate that to adult onset asthma and the management of COPD in the manner that if you're using your albuterol inhalers more than a couple of times a day, that's something that needs attention. And so you can't just continue to manage an inhaler in that manner. And so maybe you could benefit from something that would be more of a controller inhaler or some other options so that you could breathe better and also be more comfortable in your daily life.
And those things are expensive.
Very expensive.
They're like tier 3 medications. So in insurance lingo, tier 3 is always we call it preferred name brands. And usually like on the health insurance under 65 stuff, it's like they're $50 almost for
Mhm.
those meds, $75 for some of them. In the Medicare side of things, they're like tier 3 is like $47 copays.
Mhm.
And then they hit these things called donut holes. And then during the donut hole, they end up you paying 25% of the cost of these meds. So like a $400 medication is going to cost like $100 during the donut hole. That's a big deal. Now there are plans that cover those a little bit better, help to know us better a little bit. But that can be expensive, and if you can
It
control
can
it
be,
better,
yeah, and so research has shown that if you can control it earlier in life, you're going to limit the amount of inflammation that you have in your lungs and potentially decrease the need for those more expensive inhalers down the road. So if it's unfortunate when I have patients come in and they are struggling to breathe, and those are the only options that we have are those expensive inhalers. So let's be more preemptive and try to control those earlier in life.
yeah. And if we can get some alternatives in there too to make it a little
Absolutely,
cheaper, you're not paying so much for
absolutely.
inhalers. Although it's a tough thing to be in. It's like how do you do all that inhaler stuff? It's interesting. My oldest son actually has a lot of asthma problems, things like that in his early life. It's
Yes.
interesting that we've actually been able to do better and better as he's gotten older. But
Mhm.
it's been crazy as you kind of deal with those and just
It
all
can
the
be.
butyrols in your house and things like that, and just keeping up with. It can be kind of tough, especially cost wise.
It can be, and
Uh,
when a patient is initially given an inhaler, it's kind of just the understanding that this is just when I use at certain times. But it really can be important to have a really good, solid plan as to when you use it, what are the times that you use it, and then what do you do if you're using it more often. That you need to communicate with your provider so that I can give you alternatives so that you don't have that constant inflammation and it leads to longer term problems.
Yeah. So remind me of something too. Like you guys are contracted with Health Plan Nevada, and one of the cool things about them this year, and you'll find it with since you do the pediatric stuff, all their plans with Sierra Health and HBM, they're actually doing zero copays for kids under 19 this year.
Wow,
Next year,
that's
which is pretty
incredible.
cool. So it's like, I think the biggest fear, especially for kids and adults, it's like, how do I see the doctor? Because they're afraid of the costs, and especially nowadays where it's just you feel like we're not working as much because of the COVID stuff. Maybe you're struggling to pay rent and get out of your house. You're like, but I can't even take care of my health. Um, the cool thing is they're getting rid of those barriers slowly but surely, where it's like, hey, I can go see my doctor for no cost, even my kids and stuff, without worrying about the fact I'm going to pay like a billion copays to see my
Hmm.
doctor. Get those inhalers or things like that taken care of. A lot of the albuterols, honestly, are actually pretty inexpensive. Like
I,
the actual solutions.
yeah.
I mean, they're really inexpensive, a few bucks a piece. And if you qualify for extra help, things like that, they can even be almost no cost at all to you. Especially some of the plans that we have, some are even no cost at all. And then also some of the medical equipment, some of the inhaler,
The
the
nebulizers?
nebulizers are actually covered by the insurance as well.
Mhm.
And so don't be afraid of that either. And you guys can help facilitate that and get that taken care of.
We have a great team in the office to help with pre-authorizations, refers. So I think that we're in a really great position to make sure that if we can determine what the patient needs, that we can work together to get them to the right direction so that they can get what they need.
Yeah. So I mean, those are great things we're talking about. And we talk about inhaler, we talk about a lot of lung stuff too. I touched about diabetes stuff, but let's talk about that too. And how's that controlling and things like that too. Do you see a lot of diabetes in kids nowadays too, or is that a big deal, or mostly
It's
adults?
unfortunate that we do see more diabetes. That it is increasing in pediatrics and in childhood, and so. And speaking specifically on type 2 diabetes, where you see that more later in life because they become insulin resistant, though that is not always can it be controlled with other options, whether it's with insulin or other oral medications. But diet and management of weight can also play a huge role in managing that, and that's something that I do take a lot of interest in and with my patients.
So I mean, taking care of your insulins, and insulins can be expensive too.
Hmm.
I think we've talked with other providers here is the fact that how, a lot of times you start taking insulin, it kind of yields taking more insulin because you end up gaining weight and stuff like with insulin. It's like then you need more insulin to help kind of
Right.
interrupt that, and it's like this never-ending like vicious cycle. Um, and it's like becomes more and more difficult to manage. And so it's like if you can come to your doctor and find out, maybe there's something else I'm doing. It's not just it's not only just about what you're eating and intake in your body. It's also kind of how you're managing things. And there's oral medications that you can take that are a lot cheaper and help kind of offset that a little bit as you get into those.
Hmm.
Hopefully, you get that avoidance where it's like we need more potent medications. So take care of yourself. Talk to us about, especially if you're concerned about seeing the doctor, you're worried about pricing. Those are big deals. Like we can help you get those taken care of, at least to help it a little more affordable. Every health insurance policy, because of the Affordable Care Act, they do cover preventative services at no cost to you, and you can see your doctor without feeling like I don't want to see him. I've made it a point myself as I do these videos and interviews. I always make sure I get an appointment with my doctors and stuff at least annually to see my annual checkups and stuff. I'm like, I got to do this, and it's saved. And I can't tell you how much better it's become. It's like you never know. I always thought, man, my parents are going to be living forever, and I found as they've gotten older, it's like their bodies start to get a little worse. You're like, oh, I guess my family's not as healthy as I thought they were. you know, it's like my biological father was like 93 or something like that. But I thought, oh, he must be a healthy guy. But there's other stuff that happen, heart conditions and things like that. That just, how do you get to that long lifespan is you can take care of yourself.
Absolutely.
Think of your body and seeing your doctors. And like I said, a lot of them, zero cost. Even if like I'm on the Humana PPO and I want to see them, it's like, oh, it's a $5 copay. Yeah, but you still get the annual checkup at no cost, $5, whatever it is. But there's a great options where we can see them low cost and how you do it. Let's help bring those together for you guys. Give us a call and deal with that. Spring Mat Medical is there to help. Is there anything else, any thought that you have that you want our viewers to see for the next few minutes, just about healthcare in general, things that you guys are doing a little differently at Spring Mat
Mhm.
Medical that might be worth it?
I just wanted to express how excited I am to work with the people of Pahrump. It's just been such a warm welcoming, and I really enjoy the opportunity to spend time with the patients, talk to them about and determine what their needs are, and then take the time to explain what our goals and how we're going to work together to reach those goals.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things when I first came into town was this idea of how do you combine physical medicine. I think a lot of the chiropractics have really kind of realized that the idea of old chiropractic care was we're just here to crack your back a few times is kind of changed a lot in the last few years. And I
Mhm.
think they've started to understand that more of like the fact that people are using more of their chiropractors for some primary care. And they realize that, well, chiropractors don't really do primary care. They really kind of do more holistic, just kind of help with pain and for injuries, things like that, and realizing that there's more to that. And so they've added on this primary care side of helping actual real MDs and physicians assistants to kind of assist in that care where we can combine the two, where people don't just use their chiropractic care for that primary care. They realize that, hey, there's more to it than that. And you have the real, regular medical side of things. And then they bridge that gap to where you can still get that physical medicine stuff to help with those injuries, those hurts and pains. And they actually do x-rays and stuff in their office. They help you with those kind of things, breaks, things. In fact, they'll make sure that you're healing better, and not just from your bones and joints, but also healing, internally. It could be more than that. It could be more, hey, there's maybe your bones are cracking and breaking because maybe you have osteoporosis or
Mhm.
something else going on that it's like, wait a minute, you maybe need to see an actual doctor about that and get referred. And cool thing about Spring Matinal is they're getting specialists in their office there, so you can get all that in one spot where you're not having to go drive a billion miles or go to a different office each time to see just a different doctor. The biggest thing I always get frustrated with, I'm like, I want to see my doctor and I have this other issue going on. Why do I have to see another doctor and wait 3 months to see them? at a totally different office, and then you're driving all over town and you feel like your life is a doctor's office visit. But as you get less healthy or you get older, it's like you're just spending all your life in doctor visits. And that's not fun. We want to live our lives and be able to enjoy it. And they're respectful of your time there at Spring Mountain Medical. They don't make you wait a long time. It's really kind of in, see the doctor, and get out and enjoy the rest of your life. See the wonderful life that nature is and stuff like that, and live your life. Join us again next week. We're going to do another interview again with some more doctors here in town. Please join in, and we'd love to see you guys. Thanks much. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.